Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, 1 minute. One more share out. All right, so we'll move forward. I think my celebration for this week is we finally finished school review. Thank God. So the last 2 days have been extremely busy doing virtual school reviews, and that's a process, especially for me with my
Morning,
ADHD.
kids.
It just won't let me be great. So sitting in
Okay,
front of
no,
a
you're eating
computer
your
for
snack.
six
I'll do
hours
it.
for 6 hours is a lot for school review. But
Can you go get the clothes from back there? Yeah. The sheets.
yeah, but we made it happen and got it done. So glad that process is over. I'm sure you guys, the schools will be getting reports probably a little earlier than normal because most of the NIET faculty or people or support people, they are at home working too. So although they have other projects to work on, they do have they're not traveling and doing that kind of stuff. So reports probably will come faster than they normally come. And so we're gonna move forward with our agenda as far as our reflection on virtual PLCs, which I think we've already done that. You guys have reflected on that. It's good to hear such good learning. You guys, I just want to continue to stamp your power. You are truly powerful in this process as far as making sure that the level of implementation with cluster and teachers really engage in student work and student learning and also their learning is still at the rate it was when you were in school. Of course, a lot of things have changed and a lot of things are not the same, but just really being intentional, leadership teams, you guys on really supporting those teachers through those Google Classroom platforms, as well as building their learning around it too, which goes into my third point is documentation log. Some of you are doing a lot of work. I just want to make sure you are documenting some way what you're doing every week when you are meeting with them, when you are supporting, when you are having your PLCs. Really just document that on the log to show that, hey, I know I'm not on vacation. I know it's not vacation. It's a convenience, but not vacation. That you're documenting what you are doing, just in case principals push on when it's time for school review, or when principals push on, hey, my teachers are saying they not supported. You have your documentation of what you're doing on your end as a master teacher. So please, 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 if you haven't been documenting, just make sure that you start documenting, starting with this week on up until school is out, with your documentation of documenting exactly what you're doing every week and how it's going. Just keeping a track of that. It's very, very, very important. And so it was good to hear you guys talk about your clusters before I went to and go into this next point, because it's kind of refreshing that you guys are still making them dive into curriculum and standards, and then you still are supporting them around their Google platform. And so this next piece is actually our new learning for this week with the cluster. One of my initiatives that it was one of my directors from my boss, which is Angela, is last week when we met, she wanted to make sure that master teachers had some kind of guidance, some kind of framework, some kind of skeleton outline of where they can go if they are stuck, don't know what to do, how to do, really just deepen their understandings on a couple things. And that's when I presented those 3 points on, hey, we can focus on RTI, that RTI process in our schools. We can focus on diving deeper into curriculum and standards in our school, or we can just really focus on really analyzing and looking at student work trends in our schools. And then when I thought about it, I said the trends probably won't be something that a master teacher would just do along or just heavy lift that and cluster, because I think that's going to be very important for a leadership team to do during this time, because those trends are going to be very, very important when it's time for to talk about what do we go next year, what do we focus on next year, what our kids are struggling with on next year. And so I thank God for a group of first of all for y'all capacity, because we have some master teachers with some very high capacity. But I also thank God for those master teachers who I can just call and they won't cuss me out if I say I need to meet on Zoom in 10 minutes. I need to meet on Zoom in 20 minutes and they won't cuss me. And so I did that on Sunday, because Sunday I had a just a epiphany like, hey, I need to put some kind of framework together for those master teachers who don't get a lot of support from their leadership team. Those master teachers like, you know what, my principal really ain't had a meeting, so I don't know where to go. And I say, I need to put something together for them so they can have some guidance or some kind of framework, and they can use it to fit their needs if they don't have something. And so I called a group of master teachers, about 5 of them, and I say, hey, y'all, we need to put our brain together. I need y'all brain for a minute. And we was able to come up with a framework that kind of supports virtual learning on where we need to go. So we decided to go in fact, or go in the process of really digging deep into curriculum and digging deep into the standard process, just that tier 1 process when it came to it. And so there were some reasons behind why we did it. So first of all, I want to put a disclaimer. What I'm about to present to you is not a mandate or a Bible that you have to use this information, because you don't have to use it at all if you have a strong plan in place. But there will be some requirements that I will ask around your work if you have your own framework that you're using already. So when we think about a master teacher role, you guys, one of our main roles is follow-up support. And so that's that piece of that Google Classroom where I'm constantly making sure I'm supporting teachers around their needs with Google Classroom. But the next piece is our cluster. If you think about it, we were in school, we still be meeting with teachers once a week for cluster. And so we don't want that piece to go unlikely. So we don't want to just truly say, hey, everything we do going to be around Google Classroom. And I'm going to tell you, we won't get a big benefit from that, because kids are not required or mandated to log in. We have these technology issues at home. Some parents don't have internet. So you have some kids logging in, doing the work, and some parents are actually involved in it. And you have a whole nother group of kids who are not logging in at all, not taking it serious and not concerned. And so what I don't want us to do is spend our next 5 weeks just really focusing on student learning, because at the end of the day, when schools start next year, you guys, the scope and sequences are all going to have to be readjusted, because kids have missed almost 2 months of untaught standards. So when we thought about that process, we say, hey, let's just look at those untaught standards, and then let's look at our curriculum of our first 9 weeks or our first units and see what standards are there and how can we merge those two together to kind of go into that direction. I heard RTI, when Tiffany talked about RTI, go in the direction on how we bring this to front load this, whether it's through RTI, whether it's through merging the standards and really going deeper into the standards, if it's kind of on the same or similar alignment, how that works look. And so we really talked about and fleshed out a plan for our that is very applicable to you guys for K-8. I'm gonna be honest. When we think about high school have so many sciences, so many social studies, different types of ELA, but ELA kind of builds on a trajectory path. But when you think about high school, it's just hard to do that. So I was glad to hear that you guys, Roz, you are still continuing your cluster learning that you've been doing in cluster, because that's very beneficial for those teachers to truly understand those science and engineering practices and dive deep into that. So it's still curriculum, it's still tier 1, and it's exactly where you left off. And so when I think about high school, you guys, my thing is, not saying I'm just leaving you off the back burner, because I'm not, but I think you guys got enough where you can just continue to dive into what you're doing. So my only suggestion when I'm thinking about high school is that we truly make sure whatever plan we are using, we are really keeping the curriculum and standards at the forefront, where teachers are being engaged in dissecting and diving into that process to better them as a teacher and really learning their content. So when we talking about instructional focus for these next 5 weeks, it's definitely with teacher content knowledge, because that's what we want to try to build for these next 5 weeks, when we are supporting them from that second tier of teacher support. And then we're supporting them from that first tier, which is classroom, that Google Classroom around student learning. And so what we did was we built a 5-week plan that's kind of very detailed. I'm not going to read the plan verbatim to you, but I'm going to share it with you in about an hour. And so you can just look at this plan. If it's something that you can use or it's applicable to what you're doing right now, use it. I tried the master teachers I thought we were gonna just do a framework and I was just gonna make you, but when I put my brain together, it became a very explicit plan. So it's very and heavily scripted, telling you exactly what you can do, exactly what you can say, and all of those things for master teachers who just like, hey, I just need some direction because I don't know where to go. But it's very embedded in curriculum and standards. And so the process is just really getting feedback, starting off getting feedback from those teachers saying, hey, where did you leave off? On May 13th, when we left school, where did you leave off teaching? And then moving forward and going to say, hey, let's look at your first unit, what you're teaching or your content that you're teaching. What are your essential standards? And so looking at those essential standards and then going to the process of merging those standards and then going into the process, which we probably won't get to in 5 weeks, but the next process would be that process, Tiffany, that you're talking about. How would this look in RTI? How will we front load this in our tier 1 instruction? So just having conversations around it. But what it's doing is it's forcing those teachers to look at those standards that when those kids come, when my new group of kids come, those standards they miss and those standards I know I'm going to teach in first 9 weeks, so they can kind of merge those kids. And so for the month of August, it can be like a truly remediation process where those kids can be exposed to a lot of that content that they missed from March 13th all the way into May 15th. So that's the background of the plan. And again, you guys, I want to say this: it's not a mandated plan that you must use. It's if you can use it and see fit for it, use it. But I wanted to make sure I put as the shepherd of our work, I put out something that I know master teachers won't have to stress or put figuring a puzzle in their brain and trying to figure it out. It's concrete, laid out, tells you specific what to do, what it should look like, and all of those kind of things. So I think it'll be beneficial to a lot of our elementary master teachers, in middle school master teachers too, if you don't have any direction. The next thing is upcoming news, which one big piece of work, another big piece of work that Angela has assigned me. She has assigned me to do a full zone conference in August if school permits. So right now the conference is going to be designed. It's a 2-day conference and it's going to be designed to be face-to-face. But if we're not in school, then it's going to definitely have to come to a virtual platform. And that's pretty much the same thing that Dr. Brown is focusing on right now too. If school is not in June and Corona is still on the rise and we haven't been cleared how to make all the PD that she's scheduled become through a virtual platform. But I'm sharing this because guess who's going to really run this conference? You guys, master teachers. And so I've built the framework. I've built all the sessions. I've done all of those things. Me and Angela's going back and forth right now, trying to tighten up the fine tunings. But it's work that you guys are doing in your schools already. So it's nothing that it's no new learning that you'll have to get to do these sessions. It's around stuff that you are doing. And so once me and Angela finalize like the sessions or those things, I'm gonna put a Google document together and say, hey, these are sessions. What do you think you can present, or what do you think you're strong enough to present? And my thing is, I want as many master teachers to present because you guys were talking about 14 schools all coming together for a conference. If you were in the zone, if you've been always in the zone, when Billy Snow was here, Billy Snow did one, I think the second year of the zone, which we are now in year 6. But in year 2, he did a zone conference where all 14 schools came together and got learning. So the same thing it is, and you guys, the learning is heavily around planning and delivery. Really planning, diving into to their curriculums, planning and actually delivering that information. And so it's also learning for leaders. So it's a leader track. And so the way the conference is set up, there's 6 tracks. There's a leader track where leaders will be required to take some specific classes. There are an elementary and SPED track. That track will go together, elementary and SPED, and then middle and high schools have 4 tracks. You have middle high school math, middle high school science, middle high school social studies, middle high school ELA. And so those tracks will be required to take specific courses, but then also they'll have an opportunity to pick some other things that they want to take. And so it's still in the ice-breaking stage right now. I've done a lot of the planning behind it, but me and Angela is still tossing back, forth. But I wanted to prepare you that in June, maybe starting in June, I'll probably be really needing a lot of you heavily to build those sessions. The sessions are 1 hour and 30-minute sessions. And so in a couple sessions like deals with the power of field testing and those kind of things. And so when it comes to those sessions, more than one master teacher will actually be presenting at the same time. So it'll probably be a group of master teachers present on the same thing. But we just want to make sure that you are prepared and you are ready. And that's my thing, is that you are prepared and ready. But it's no new learning. It's stuff that you already can do. But I'm going to depend on master teachers heavily to help me lead this conference. And so now I'm going to open up for questions, because our last thing is, do we have prayer requests? I know we have one to continue to pray for those family members and direct family members and people that we even know who are affected by this COVID-19 stuff. But anybody got any questions about what has been already discussed or what has already been said? Just unmute your mic and then let me know, because I don't want to unmute everybody's mic. So if you have questions, just unmute and then you can just jump in. All right, so there's no questions.
Dr. Ray.
Hey,
Dr. Ray.
I didn't go
All right.
ahead.
Okay, Miss Mack, you got the mic. I think your mic on.
No, I sent you a text already. I was just suggesting that you show that one of the slides, that 13, I just said maybe the first week.
Okay, good.
It's just a suggestion. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, okay, great. Miss Juve, you were saying something?
Yes, I of course, I'm asking you guys to continue to pray for my family. Our plan is to try to put my uncle to rest by next week. And my grandmother doesn't know yet that he has transitioned because she's in the hospital, nor does she know that my father's in the hospital. So please continue to pray for my grandmother's strength. Also, I'm asking you guys, I've started this organization called Because We Care. Fortunately, I have my family is covered in insurance, and this pandemic is coming so fast. As I said, it's attacking people's family, and unfortunately, in our Black neighborhoods, a lot of them are not insured. So it presented another issue. I've started an organization called Because We Care. I have it on Facebook, and I'm thanking God, not because of this, but we're in the process of helping 2 families as we speak. If you're not able to donate, because I understand because of monetary and layoffs, that's fine. But I'm asking you to please go to my page and just share it. Just share it, because there are some people out there who are willing to help and can help. So I'm asking you just to please share it on your page, share it with your church members and your organizations. Again, you can friend me on Facebook, but if you can't give, you can definitely pray. And when you pray, you can definitely share it. So I'm asking you, my master teacher family, to please do that favor for me. Thank you.
Jude, how are you listed on Facebook?
As LaShonda Juve. That's my name. It's LaShonda Juve.
I was just putting Sean to that. That's the problem. Okay.
Is it possible for you to tag us in it, and then we can share it from your page?
Yes, I can do that. I can do that.
That'll be great, Juve. If you can tag us in, and we definitely can share that. That's the least we can do.
And it shares my story, so I don't have to keep telling it. It tells the short story, the background behind it. You know, like I said, we've on Sunday, and so far we almost raised almost $2,000. I'm working with a mother. I'm in the midst of calling now. A young lady, 22 years old, had passed because of COVID, and we're trying to help her family. You know, it's coming really rapid and fast. You know, we're hearing some praise reports, but guys, it's really some people out there that's struggling right here in Shreveport. So my goal and my angle is to help people here in Shreveport, Louisiana, to help those. So that's what I'm asking you to just please just share it.
Awesome. Any more prayer requests? You guys got any more prayer requests? So definitely keep Juve family in your prayers, and also she's gonna tag us in the post on her, or if she's already your friend, you can go to her page and just share just share the post so that others can see it that may be following you and your friends. If there's no more questions, you guys, I just want to share at least like go through and share. And I'm not going to read this at all, but I just want to let you know what the document will actually look like when it comes to you after we finish cleaning it up. As you can see, it's right here, says April 13th through 17th. That's next week. And again, y'all, I have to keep saying that you don't have to use this information if you already have a plan of action that you are doing. It's just that if you already got a plan of action, please, please, please make sure that it's supporting through a twofold lens. That tier A lens where it's follow up around the student learning, that's the Google Classroom, and then you're also doing the tier B lens where you're supporting teacher learning with that. And so I don't think you can go wrong if you already got a plan, but this one it goes week by week. It shows you exactly what should be done in tier A and what should be taking place in tier B based on the trajectory that we chunked about the process that I described earlier. It's gonna also give you some possible resources that you can probably pull from if you don't know, which most of you, all of you should know curriculum, where to pull your curriculum from and where to pull resources from. But my thing is, I wanted to make it as explicit and as simple for master teachers to follow if you don't have direction on where to go with what you're working on for these next 5 weeks. And again, even tell you about what happens next, what you need to do at the end of your virtual cluster so that teachers are prepared for the next one. But it goes week by week by week and giving you explicit details. Some of them even give you a live help you with your think aloud. It has a think aloud piece in it to help you explain the content that you're doing. I think the most if you really use the meat of this plan, the heavy lifting that you will be required to do is just thinking through your process. How are you going to really chunk this process and explain a process for teachers to do this learning? Everything else is done for you. It's just you explaining the process. But again, I'll share this document with you. I know by 8 o'clock tomorrow. And again, it's just to provide you with some guidance if you need guidance. If you already got a good solid 5 weeks direction and you know exactly what you want to do, go forward. We're going to continue to share out every week as far as that. But just remember, the only requirement I'm asking you you support them through a twofold lens. You provide them support as like follow up around what they are required to do so that they're instructing kids. And then you also give them a little learning every week to build their capacity. Are there any questions? If you don't have questions, you guys, I'm not going to hold you. That's all I have for this actual week. Again, make sure you are logging what you're doing, keeping documentation. You guys, I'm not one to micromanage at all because I just believe you have done amazing and hard work, and a master teacher job is just hard, period. And so I'm not gonna say, oh, send me your log and send me what you're doing and send me that. But you guys, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Some principals, when they feed it on the fire, when Central Office put fire on them, they'll try to throw some things under the bus, throw you under the bus, saying they didn't support them and they didn't do it and they didn't do it. And I want you to be covered on your end, logging exactly what you're doing, if that makes sense. And so if you don't have anything else, you guys, we are going to be prayerful for all of our families, especially Juice and Clarice, because Clarice lost her, she just got married, but she lost her father-in-law as well to COVID. So she's not in the meeting today because they making arrangements with that and doing that as well. So just be prayerful, and you guys stay safe as possible. And again, I think I don't know if anybody signed up for Thursday clusters or Thursday learning. I think I got one meeting. I was gonna try to hop in some people's stuff on tomorrow, but if not, then you guys, we'll be back next Wednesday to just update and just keep doing what you're doing. We trucking right along. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Dr. Rainey, did you get my invite for Science Cluster?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I did. All right, y'all. So y'all be good. I'm gonna log off of this and close this out.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a good-